Vincenzo's Go Crypto Investing. Remember the bell notification, like the channel, subscribe, and share to get that information and education you need to sidestep and audible the pumps and dumps and the market manipulation and the volatile swings and fleeced heist and shiest, the fleeced heisters and shysters, and get that education and information. And most importantly, you need in our mission and our quest in this channel to education, information, and asset acquisition to heighten and enhance our standard of living and quality of life that we all are looking for and seek out and desire. And we're going to look at some of the shyster coins real quick, as we got some Chainlink here that I had a subscriber and a fan of the station request that we look at some long-term potential bottoms in Chainlink. And one of the first things I want to notice about Chainlink is if we look at what we've had going on here in the macro time frame, we have this big, I don't know if this is the longest chart they have, but this is the chart I got on TradingView. It goes back to about 20, let's see, goes back to about 20, where are we at? 2019, and we started just before the big, huge bull market. So it was a great time to launch this coin if that's when Chainlink came out, which I remember that's about when this coin started getting promoted, and it ran up in the bull market. You got your VP volume indicator here. And what I want you to notice first is the mean of the volume, which is all the way down here at $3.66, right? Then you got this big area of a big candlestick that sticks its dirty neck out all by itself, where you have small candle, very small candle, humongous candle right here. And then you notice we got a group of them right here where we're surrounded by very little bit of volume and very little bit of volume right there. And that's between about $7. That's about $7.31, the first range, to about $9.36. And that's a very, very important level. And then as we get on up into here, the $11 range up here, that's another very, very important level. And that is an area that we're going to mark out, because anytime you get big sticks of candles like that, that's telling you these are very, very important levels as you start pumping up and as you start pumping down. And this level up here would be, would be green, because that would be, oh my God, I'm going to get rich in an orgasmic, euphoric event of the century if you broke north of that. Because if you take a look at that north of there, you get north of there, look at all this little skinny volume, very little volume there, which means you could pump, if you broke north of this, from here, you could pump all the way 44% or $7 worth before you hit major upper resistance right here. Now you say, well, Vincenzo, that sounds like a bunch of mumbo fucking jumbo. Vincenzo, how the fuck am I going to follow this nonsense and jargon and fleecing and witchcraft and Targisians, right? You sound like you're saying you have plutonium with 269 gigawatts of flux, right? That's what you sound like. You sound like a mumbo jumbo. Give me straight language, Vincenzo. I need some help here. All right, straight language for me. Here's what I'm looking at, and here's what you need to be looking at right now. Take a look at what happened in the. Let's go to the daily time frame. We're in the monthly. Let's go to the weekly, and then this will clarify it. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about in simple non-gigawatt flux capacitors and electromagnetic pulses. We're going to give you plain English, just like we were talking to a child, right? Because that's how I like to be talked to, make it simple and easy. Take a look at this right here. This is that big candlestick that we were talking about that sticks its dirty neck. Look at all that volume. Green, buy volume, red, sell volume. It's about 50-50. But look how much less volume there is below it, and look how much less volume there is above it, right? And then look at this. See how the volume goes very less to the very bottom part of this, where it can get where you would expect a big buy volume to be, because it's at the end of a major candle area where there's major volume in there. And that's exactly what it did. Look at this. As we started to consolidate sideways, we got your left, we got your left shoulder. See this? Got your, we got your left shoulder, your head, and then your right shoulder right there, and then your neckline, right? And you could do a targeted move, and I bet you that gets you right down there to the $3.66. We'll do that in a second. But look at what happened. after you broke down through right here, this major volume candlestick, all the way over here, you see that at the bottom part of this green, you had very little volume left. So you flushed all the way down to the orange, right? See that? You had very little volume as soon as you broke this level back here. As soon as you broke that level, you had very little volume. So you flushed and you tried to get initial support and then you flushed all the way down. And look at where you wicked down to right here. The next huge candle, you wick straight through this area right here. This is like a technical analysis class is what this is turning into. Because you wick down through this area where there's nothing there, you went straight down through two areas. Through this area where there's nothing, you can see how quick you flush down through it, right? The same thing when you go up. Look how quick you went through there, right? And then you had nothing on a falling knife in the great early May collapse of 2022. You just knifed right through it. And then you came through this bottom part, and then you had to get wicked down where the next major volume is right here. See that? You wicked and touched into this bottom area right there. And then you traded sideways right along the bottom part of this major candle where that sticks out. Why? Because that's where all the trading is in this area. So you're going to consolidate there, right? And now what you're doing is it's allowing the moving averages to relax and catch back up to the price. Because in one way or another, see how far away you got from the moving averages to the downside right here? See that big gap? One way or the other, either you're going to have a V-shaped bounce back into the moving averages to catch up, or you're going to have a long consolidation to let the moving averages catch up to you from above. And that's exactly what you did. You took the ladder here and you had a consolidation after that great flush from May 2022 all the way to April of 2023. And that's that's an 11-month consolidation, nearly a year long, to get in the weekly time frame these moving averages to catch up to the price. You can see the 50 in red crossed, made a bearish cross right there, and the price remained bearish. And then the 200 or the 100-day is trailing off and catching up to the price. And now you're either going to pump up, which you could do in a bullish fashion. Not likely that you come all the way to $11, but on any kind of bullish move from here, you could come all the way up to $11. And then I think you'd get a huge rejection and a big hook nose, excuse my humor, bearish hook nose Jew bearish reversal pattern. Or what's more likely to happen is you get staggered out within this orange trading area where you're at now. And I think a bottom price that I could be looking at here on the next level to the downside is down here to the mean, right? Just like XRP is trying to bounce every time it comes up to the mean of the volume and Bitcoin gets rejected. I think your next big move, you're coming down to $3.66. And then my bear market bottom would be on a catastrophic flush where you break the mean of the volume and you come all the way down here towards $1, right? Towards the bottom part of this rising channel where you had upper resistance, uptrending support, uptrending support, uptrending support, uptrending support, confirm breakdown right there. A technical target in a rising channel is the bottom of the channel. So my bear market bottom, my initial target, I believe is going to hit with not a problem is $3.66. And then I do believe eventually by the end of this bear market, you're going to be testing this 60-cent to $1 range would be a bear market bottom that I'm looking at. And that is forecasting a potential 91% crash in Chainlink. I know that's not popular. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear. That's absolutely something I feel like is within the realm of possibilities. And if we do this targeted move on this head and shoulders that's up here, you can see the neckline, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You would take a candle from the top of the head to the neckline. Zoom in here so maybe it'll let me drag this to the point of a breakout, and that gets you right to where you're at now. And then you got this long consolidation right here, and you could say your next technical target would be, this is your flag to the bottom, this is your bear flag, and your technical target gets you down there. So that's what I'm looking at in Chainlink. The next major move to the downside, $3.66. Any kind of bullish pump, $8.50 would be a most likely rejection point, upper end potential of 11, and then a bear market bottom somewhere between 60 cents and $1. Like, subscribe, and share. That's what I think's going on there. That's what I think's happening. If we take a quick look at the XRP price, we have a big move in the XRP coming as we are in this symmetrical triangle that we've been in ever since the great June dump of last year. So it's been about 10 months of a symmetrical triangle, a big continuation pattern, neutral continuation pattern. But in a bear market, I'm forecasting this just like I did this last 12-month long symmetrical triangle back here. I forecasted that to break down, and it did. And I'm forecasting this one to break down, and I believe it will. But if you break out, because this has to break out of the apex within the next 14 days, you're either going to get a hyper pump to 50 cents or you're going to get a near capitulation down to 28 cents, which would be a forecasted move of upwards of a quick flash 21% crash to a 37% pump. Or at worst case scenario, if you break to the downside and that VP volume indicator that we just talked about, chain link, you could be having a 50% capitulation flush to 60% flush, because this is the VP volume indicator you've been bouncing on. You can see you broke above it bullish back here in 2021, and then you came back down to it the first time in May of 2022, then a second time in June of 2022, then a third time in September of 2022, then a fourth time in November of 2022, and then a last stand in December of 2022. And that's now where you're at, filling out this pattern that we've been following. And you're very, very close coming to a very hyperactive move in XRP. And it's going to be a big pump or a dump. And if you dump to the downside, it could be the start of a capitulation. That could be a crash of better than 50%, working on 61.69%, as I am forecasting a capitulation bottom this year, sometime in June, July, or August, deep down into the shithouse, aka golden accumulation zone. And I believe we're going to fly by that 18 to 20 cent target that I had, and then we're going to settle down somewhere between 3 cents and 9 cents. Like, subscribe, and share. Peace and love. Get prepared.